What is going on, guys? JB here with codeFellowship, and welcome to another episode of this amazing podcast that you find yourself watching on YouTube or Spotify and listening to on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Trying new things with this intro here. Just forgive me. Uh, and I'm going to say another special guest. I say it all the time. I have a special guest, and the special guest that we have here will introduce herself, but she is, correct me if I'm wrong, Angela, CEO, founder, creator, entrepreneur, you name it, of Andi Search, which is a really awesome search engine platform that uses generative AI. If you guys haven't checked it out or even heard about it, go to Andi Search. That's Andi with an I, search.com. It has changed my life as a developer, actually, and it's been very helpful. And we're going to talk about that stuff and in this episode and plenty more, but I'm going to give her the show floor so she can introduce herself. So talk about yourself, your name, where you're from, and how'd you got into programming?
Ah, what an intro. Thank you so much, Joshua. Yeah, as Josh said, I'm Angela. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Andi. And our real motivation on trying to take on search is about how do we save people time, reduce distraction, and just really create a better search experience, right? Because we feel that search fundamentally hasn't changed in the past 20 years. And we think that in the future, search will be as seamless as talking to a smart friend. So that's what we're about at Andi. Little bit of my background. I was born in Phoenix, but raised in Colorado. And I have a bit of an unconventional founder background. So when I was 18, I graduated from high school, didn't know what I wanted to do for college, heard about an opportunity to live and work in Australia. So I
Mm.
decided to take that. Yeah, it was really cool actually. And at the time I thought I wanted to be a civil engineer. So I started working in construction as a general laborer and then kind of worked my way up, got a couple different promotions, and then ended up becoming a project administrator at a data center being built in Sydney, and
Mm.
started working really closely alongside Microsoft Azure. And so that was my introduction into tech. And then I'm actually not the developer at Andi. Our team is kind of like hacker and hustler. So my co-founder Jed does most of the developing. I feel like I have a pretty good
Jed. I
Jed,
know
yeah.
that name because he didn't want to get on a podcast. Jed,
He's
you
buried
better be
away in code.
listening.
Yeah, he's buried away in code. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of the team. It's just us two working on it right now with some help from
Yeah.
friends, and it's been a super fun journey.
That's cool. So, and fun fact, I guess you can confirm this. So, you guys went through a YC, right? A cohort.
Yep, we went through YC Winter 22. So,
Nice. So let's talk about that. Um, s- we'll guide the conversation there. So let's start with where Andi, like, how did you conceive Andi? Was it with Jed? Was it something you started from, like, your experience getting into tech, and you just saw there was this issue that you've been trying to solve, then the technology came about the year that you decided to start this, and then you did you meet Jed prior, or did you use the YC system? Because I did kind of use that a little bit at the beginning. I tested it out, and I know that most people can find co-founders through it, right? Through the program. So how is that? Let's break that apart, right, into pieces. Andi Search,
okay,
was it like an idea you had during YC or something you had prior?
love the question. Yeah, I it was something that was in the back of my mind, Really, I had a frustration with Google search showing me
Mm.
bad results.
Don't
Like,
we all?
just seemed like, yeah, like the search results were crap. And so I had had that thought in the back of my mind. And then I actually met my co-founder Jed at the Denver airport.
No
So
way.
yes. So I had had this growing frustration with Google. I had just done this year in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Jed meet. He's Australian. We get to
Oh,
chatting.
really?
Yeah, so he's Australian. We get to chatting, and it turns out, Jed has deep domain expertise. He's got a background in AI and ML,
Wow.
and he spent years in the past building vertical search engines. And so we just got to talking about this idea of like, hey, Google kind of sucks. What would a new search engine look like? Uh, and how would it be different? And we just started talking about this. And fast forward 8 months, Jed had built out the back end. We had like an MVP, and he said to me, hey, I really want you to join full time as co founder. And I was in school at the time. So I ended up actually dropping out of college to join Andi.
Wow. So it all started with him, with Jed. So Jed, you didn't want to come on a podcast, man, because you wanted Angela. No, okay, never mind. To be the
No, I will
face,
say, it's really us. It's not
that's
like I'm the
cool.
face or anything. It's just like this was our, you know,
Yeah,
our mind idea, and
it's like two people randomly from across the world had the same idea, or the same frustration. I mean, we all have similar frustrations, right? But one was able to like take your idea because it already somewhat existed, and then just you were able to like join a team and join forces together. That's like a godsend. Like this, that's a very rare opportunity. And who would have thought that you just meet at a random airport? Now, how did that happen? Were you like buying McDonald's at the airport and you bumped into each other coding, or he was just randomly charging and he's like, "Hey, my charger doesn't work. Can I borrow yours?"
yeah, just got to chatting with one another at a bar actually. So
Ha.
again, super serendipitous. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Well, congratulations to you guys. I mean, the product is looking super awesome. And what's interesting, I think I actually mentioned this in the Discord. I'm not sure, but originally when I heard about Andy Search, you guys had like a little magnifying glass. The UI wasn't really good looking, right? It was like you can tell it's an MVP product. I'm a UI UX developer, and the thing about me is before being a UI UX developer, I've always been attracted to platforms that have an intuitive UI or just really clean, minimalistic, and that's what attracts me to using the product. The product could suck, but if the UI is good, then that might hold me on and try to, learn more about the product. So I'm gonna be transparent here. When I first started using Andy Search, I was like, man, should I really? I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. And then you guys came out with the whole design update, and I was like, okay, this is looking really good, and it's showing results like so well, like literally what I want it to show me, what I'm seeking, like answers to like a specific coding problem or platform issue that I'm having. And then I was like, let me give this 30 days. Let me give it 30 days. It's November and we're almost like close to Thanksgiving at the time of this recording, and I'm still using it and I talk about it whenever I can. So it lives up to my expectations, and I am so sad that I did not give you guys a chance at the beginning, but you guys are doing a great job though. I love it.
JB, you have no idea how happy that makes me because when me and Jed were building the product, I told him UI UX is super important. Like, that is one of the key things for building a consumer product. And so the UX update was really my baby. Like, that was my project.
Mm,
And rolling that out, I do think has had an impact on like, people's ability to just catch on to it because it is a very different search experience, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. And when you guys had like the MVP, was that something you guys had ready going into YC, or that's something you guys continue to polish on during YC?
Yeah, it's a great question. So when we applied to YC, we were actually called Lazy Web.
Hmm.
And the UI still had a chat panel, but it looked quite a bit different from what you see today, or even what you saw the first time that you used
Right.
Andi.
Okay.
And so yeah, it really has been just one big, iteration after the next, just trying to keep improving the product.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what you're saying to me is that the first iteration was very bare bone.
The first version of Andi literally only returned one result.
Wow. And now it returns plenty. Yeah. I like how conversational Andi feels, right? So was that something that was at the beginning, or is that something you guys developed uh throughout the time that you were putting it together? Was the was this, I'm gonna keep asking, was this before YC or during YC, right? Because I know a lot of people put a lot of heart and soul during one of those cohorts, right? To be able to go through that and then get funded and stuff like that, or seated would be the word, right? In that
Mhm.
industry. But I just want to know, like, what the, like, continue to give attention to the origins, right? Because I know a lot of people don't think of the greatest things before. They think about it like during something like that. Um,
Yeah, we had always had the conversational interface. That was something that was like key to the product right from the beginning, that me and Jed really felt passionate about, that that is what the future is going to look like.
okay.
But one thing that came from the YC batch that really we think just took the product to a whole nother level was the idea of generating results, right?
Mm,
Because what we had before was, it was question answer and the answers were snippets. But what we do now on Andi that makes it so different from other search engines is that we use natural language processing to understand the query's intent, and then we go out and take the top 10 to 20 results for a given question and use a large language model to actually generate an answer. So when you see a deep answer on Andi, that information could be being pulled from like 3 to 5 different resources.
mm-hmm.
And we think that's the future, and uh, that was kind of what came out of the YC batch, that super intensive, period of just grinding on the product. And so, like, to your point, like you said, like, some of the best ideas happen in that grind mode, in that accelerator program, and
Right.
and that was what it was for us.
Cool. So you've already had a platform you built. You already had the bare bones skeleton, like the wireframing of the tool. But really the selling feature that's gonna make us use it was that. That's awesome.
100%.
That's awesome. And I guess that makes sense as to why it happened during that time, because you are exposed to so many types of resources, right? That can help you accelerate the product development for that feature. I'm assuming so, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were so thankful to do the YC batches, because you are exposed to so many brilliant minds. You can bounce ideas off of so many different people, and me and Jed were both interested in the idea of large language models and how large language models are going to play a role in search.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had this key insight that large language models on their own are not enough, because large language models are very good at spewing plausible sounding BS, essentially. They're good at predicting the next, yeah, like they're good at predicting the next word in the sentence, but they have no idea of right or wrong.
Right. There's
And
no
so
contextual result from it. Yeah.
yeah, and so that was like our whole insight was, okay, it's not just about large language models, it's about combining large language models with factual information and generating the answer that can give you, this much better search experience.
Yeah. So because of this, so does that mean that every time that we're searching, right, misspelling something or maybe rewording or paraphrasing our question to get a different result, like one would do with any good search engine experience, does Andi basically, like, because Andi doesn't autocomplete, which is nice, right? It doesn't suggest like what is it you should be searching for, right? like like Google would, right? To get users to ads or other sites, right, in particular that work around those metrics. But Andy really prides itself the way it works, right? From my experience, really giving you what you need. But I noticed that when I do paraphrase, it learns what I'm trying to look for. Then it gives me a different result, probably like the third time if I were to paraphrase it. And I noticed a week later, I put the same thing, but I get similar results, but adds on new results because it's learning what I'm looking for. If I'm, maybe it's just my mind creating illusion of this, but this is my experience. So correct me if I'm right or wrong.
No, I mean, Joshua, it makes me so happy to hear you say this because Andy actually does learn from itself. Like, exactly how you described it is how it works. Like, if you enter in the same phrase multiple times, Andy will say, okay, I know that I didn't give Joshua the result that he was looking for the first time. So I'm going to throw up some different results and see if that can help. So
Mm.
that is really impressive that you picked up on that.
Yeah, I am glad that I can give that feedback in that case study. So here you go. You can use podcast case study. um, One thing I did like, because I did mention that to you guys, I think on, was it LinkedIn or Discord? One of the two. But I noticed that when I was writing a sermon, I was trying to look for specific details on Apostle Paul. And one thing you mentioned just a few, like a minute or so ago, is that it gives you like a compiled information, like from that preview. Whoa, it started focusing on my hand. From that preview of your search query. And then when I click on see more, I don't actually see all that information. It's just a compiled of all the information that I'm about to see, and it gives you a nice little synopsis, which I thought it was dope because I was like, well, I have to make sure that this is accurate, right? Because we don't want to misrepresent like scripture either. So then when I look at it, I'm like, oh, all it is just like giving me like something I would write on a as a paragraph, like on a school paper or something, right? And I was like, that is dope. Like it gave me real accurate information, but it just gave me a synopsis of all my possible search results. As I started clicking on them, I was able to verify. So that was super nice. Um, was that like a was that part of an iteration of that feature that you guys were building?
100%. Yeah, definitely part of the iteration. And what you're talking about is get again like pulling from multiple
Right.
results. And you're on the Discord. Sometimes we have conversations about like, hey, I saw this, but then the link that it linked to, it didn't have that answer in the link, and it's like, and so, yeah, that was definitely one part of our iteration. Another thing that we can do to improve that is actually saying, like, okay, this answer was generated from X, Y, and Z source.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because it's not just from one source, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It really does a great job to like crawl through the results and give you like a snippet. It's a really good snippet. And um I do like how it gives you just like that leeway to make a decision whether you want to see more results or you just are happy with what you got. And then sometimes they'll give you a link of like what the most popular piece of content would be in regards to a certain topic you're searching. And most of the time that's good enough for me, or has been, or it's a good start.
Mm.
And then I do like that it opens up in a new tab. Sometimes it's kind of annoying on a mobile device, right? Because you kind of wish that it would just I guess I wish it would just be like, oh, okay, if I clicked on it, then I'm trying to think of a good flow, but again, I guess it might be how the browser reacts to it, right? Like how intuitive the browser could be. So it might not be an Andy problem, right? Um, but if I
Let me
do,
ask you this. Are you
yeah,
using the progressive web app on your phone?
No, see, that's my problem. I'm the problem, huh?
Okay. It's
So
no,
there is a
you're,
progress. I know there's a it was a is a PWA, right? But I didn't know that I can put it on my phone. I was just using on the browser just because I'm mostly using it on desktop. So that's why.
yeah.
But yeah, I will download it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not your fault. It's our fault because we haven't been promoting the progressive web app at all. Like, but I will say native apps are coming, all right? We're gonna have native
Okay.
apps soon,
Okay.
which we're excited about.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I know that Jed was talking about PWA because somebody had some issues where I even had an issue, right? Where it like went super white and it just didn't when I would refresh it and nothing happened and then he replied back saying that it was just because multiple updates got sent out, so it caused like a brain fart somewhere, and to put it creatively, guys. And then there was like a nice little discourse between him and one of the Discord members, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then I put the GIF guy of the guy that goes like this. It's like smart idea. But no, I've never because I used a Brave browser on my phone, on my iPhone,
Hmm.
and um, I've never actually added it to my home screen, and I guess I should. I guess I should. I'll definitely do that, and then I'll retract my response there. But I mainly use it on desktop. So my a lot of my Andi search experience is from desktop. Um, and then if I do need to use my mobile device, then obviously I go into the Brave browser. I have it set as default on everything. Um, I think even my iPad Pro. I have to double check that. Don't kill me. um, and it actually it's really interesting how the different devices, right? Because you're not hold to an account. Like you don't have to sign up to Andi Search, right? But I've noticed and that my results are can be very similar or do the same thing I was just talking about. Like it learns. So is it learning based off of like just my network environment, or you don't have to tell me all the secret service stuff, but I want to know if I'm right there.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is that Andi is completely anonymous, so we don't log any of your searches.
Okay.
And really, the thing that it's learning from is Andi recognizes the search intent, like query intent, right? So if
Mm.
it sees that, okay, this anonymous user has done the same query intent 3 times with the same type of words and stuff, and they're not getting the response because they're searching again and again,
Mm-hmm.
that's how Andi kind of retrains and can figure out, okay, I wasn't serving up the right content.
So so also it's like a perception thing. Like it's like I'm searching for the same thing because it's my brain putting in the same words. So because everything is so anonymous, right? There's this integrity and ethic behind data privacy, um, that it's really the all the ML AI component of the platform that just learns the language of it. Because like I'm an anonymous user on my desktop right now. So if I do it on my phone, it's like, oh, it's just another anonymous user, but they're using the same type of phrases. And I already have that type of data, so I'm gonna just serve it again, right? To this anonymous user, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And and it's interesting to hear your point about user accounts too, because like from a user perspective, I would love to hear if that's something that would be useful for you. Like, would you like your accounts to be linked?
Um, you know, if I were to say yes, then it would just feel like every other product out there, right? I haven't really seen a specific use case scenario and where I would want to use a user account, right? Because Andi is not giving me an email service. It's not tied to my YouTube account or anything. So like I realized, and you guys built the product with the intent of it being an actual just a search engine, right? Just a
Yeah.
search engine. And you don't need an account to access the web, right? You can Google things on Google without a Gmail account or a Google account, unless you're like trying to synchronize your tabs on browsers and all that stuff, right? Just other things like that. Um, so to strengthen that point, I'm gonna say no. I don't think I would want a user account, right? Because I can favorite it, and you put like copy and paste the links into a Notion board or something like that, right? If I want to stick those results. And I've really enjoyed the experience with Andi Search, and where it just didn't cause me to bookmark or save things, because it's kind of like, when you're taking courses, right? You buy a course, you barely finish it. I tend to bookmark things, and I barely even look back at it most of the time. So I don't think Andi should even have a feature like that. Maybe other people be like, JB, you're crazy, you're out of your mind, we need that kind of stuff. um but I think Andi has caused me to be a much more intentional researcher on the web, instead of like, oh, I have all this stuff synchronized. It's But am I gonna look at it, right? Is it gonna create intent for me? Is the product gonna cause me to learn how to paraphrase my searches? Because that's one thing I do like about Andi. It never like says, oh, look at this search result again, right? Unless I'm on a browser. Brave browser would do that, right? Oh, here's my search history, stuff like that. um
Mm.
so like the UI of other external components that are not of Andi, right, will accommodate for those things if I really need it, but I really don't, right? um but that's a long spiel for one answer, but
It's
I'm just
super
really passionate
helpful.
about the product though, as a user. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. You heard it here live, folks. Not live, but like um, in this recording. We're making this product better right now in this call right now.
Absolutely, yes, exactly. And your feedback is freaking invaluable too. Like JB really contributes, and he's already had lots of positive impact on Andi. So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, I'm about to search something here. Hmm. Well, I heard the Green Power Ranger passed away, so I'm gonna put Green Power Ranger passed away. You guys are not seeing us on the screen. It's okay. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. So I said I found this media on MSN.com, right? Jason David Frank, uh, beloved played Tommy Oliver in the Power Rangers. Yeah. So yeah, he passed away. So sad. But I was trying to see. Hmm. There was something, right? There was something in particular, where I should have thought about it, but it might come to me. I'm gonna put it on a Discord. It was something in where when I would search something,
Mhm.
I don't know if it was from a mobile experience, because it clears out, right? And sometimes I just want to go back to, like, because you know how you have the little conversational box on the left side from a desktop view, and sometimes I just don't want to type all, like, if I'm typing a whole question, maybe I don't want to type the whole question again because I want to see the same search results. Um,
Right.
but I would love to see at least a history of some of my searches that can eventually just wipe after, let's say, I close out the tab or that session, and it resets itself, right? But it's stored locally on the device, right? So I don't know. What do you think about that? Because sometimes
Well,
there's some questions that are
yeah.
really long.
Yeah, so one of the features actually that we have that is hidden right now is if you key up when you're searching on Andi, you press the up key on your little four, that'll
Oh,
repopulate the bar. But again, this is UI UX stuff. We could get into the weeds with
okay.
this. Like,
So here's a thought. Here's a thought.
mhm.
Well, no, because it's so clean. But I was gonna say maybe there could be like a little just like a little piece of text that just pops up, right, or something that tells us to do that. Or maybe we don't need it. Maybe we just need a video when you guys release this feature, or like a sneak peek, right? Hey, we're currently working on this, and you guys can do this, right? Um, I don't know. Maybe that could also be integrated in the setting. Oh, the commands guide.
Mm.
Commands guide probably has it, right? Nope, but I do see
It
other
might.
interesting things. Let me see. Ban commands, bug reports, force web search. Yeah, it's such a really good call. Real time research and development here. No, it's not. It's not there. But I guess that would be the place to be, right? So
Mm. Note to self, add that into the commands guide area. Yes.
yeah, yeah. I like literally. This is awesome. It's like, oh, I didn't even know you could look at your search results like that. That's cool. In Markdown mode.
Yeah, it's another thing that's hidden. If you see the little hamburger menu,
Yeah.
you'll see 4 images, and you can click and actually change it to grid view, list view,
Yeah, the list view reminds
markdown.
me of old school web 1.0.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was when Google was still a good search product, basically.
It just feels like
That's the
Craigslist
style you're
now.
going
That's what it
for.
looks like. It looks like Craigslist.
But I think one of the interesting things about search these days is like, and one of the things that we're really passionate is like, how do you reduce cognitive overwhelm? Because the web is
mm.
so freaking overwhelming.
Yeah.
And like, we've had people with ADHD tell us that, like, I love Andi because it helps me stay focused. Like, I can actually
Yes.
focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So like I don't have ads, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't I'm about to go to google.com right now and just do the same search, which was oh, let me see if I could up. Oh yeah, I can up and uh control A and control C and control V. Look at that. Andy even helps me look at Google searches really quickly. Okay, cool. So, yeah, then you have all these like the drop downs, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people also ask, okay, Google, but do I really care? Sometimes, like sometimes I just want like the results, right? I don't want to deter. Oh, has the Green Ranger died? Which Power Ranger has died? Man, this is a really sad episode now. Stuff like that. Like it. I get what Google's trying to do here, right? And then you have like videos and stuff like that. So I appreciate some of this stuff from a Google user perspective. But that user is right. You know, like Andy really takes a lot of the fluff and gives me what I need, right? It doesn't give me the fluff from the pillow, it gives me the pillow as a whole
Mm.
product. And the search result is the product, while Google says you are the product. And that's what I like about Andy Search. We are not the product, the result is the product.
I need to quote you on that. I'm going to be using that quote constantly. I love it.
When it uploads, you can you can clip it on YouTube as well. Yeah, but if you wanna write it down, you can. But yeah, it's what really makes it more intentional, right? Because I'm not those type of users that just like Google got my info. I was in the
Mm.
military. The government already has my info, so I don't got nothing to worry about. And I've been using the internet longer than before the military, so probably China has all my info still. So it's like at some point I don't become very what is it? I don't have anxiety for that stuff, right? Because that's I've come to reality a lot of things we do in the web, it's going to be exposed in other places that we don't tend to look into, right? But
Mm.
if there are products that exist that can mitigate and give you a much ethical experience on something like search, then I welcome
Mm.
it. And then that creates a healthier intention in the way that I use technology, and how it enforces the way, hey, you need to actually be more careful about the data that you put out there, right? Because internet tools are not always the solution. Like, a lot of people purchase like a lot of, what is it, LifeLock, right? Stuff like that. Like, there's these different services that help with your identity, with your data protection and stuff like that. And I just feel like it's a lot of it is kind of like insurance in America, right? Do we really need all these insurance policies, in a way? But when there's products like Andi, you create intent, you create a user experience that's completely more natural to someone who's trying to look for information. It feels like I'm asking the librarian, what book do you have in this library that talks about Jesus Christ? And then you know what they're going to say? There's plenty of holy Bibles all the way over here, and there's different translation. You pick it. And that's exactly what I was looking for. Instead of like a librarian that tells, well, you need to sign up and you need to pay $5 fee and you need to make sure you put the book back, and make sure you stay quiet while you're reading the Bible, right? No amen, hallelujah here, because people are trying to read as well, right? So it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like there's so many obstacles to try to get a result. Now, I know something you guys are trying to improve is like the news and the images and the videos, because I noticed with some results, I don't even get videos, right? Like, I see images, I see news, and I see all search result. Right, and then Google gives me like everything that I don't care about, or some things that I care about. But there are some things. So like if I do like let's say visual effects for Black Adam, right, or something like that, right? I hope it'll give me the video tab. See, it does. So all search results, images, and videos. So that's super nice. So it doesn't distract you from like, hey, this search result is gonna give you text-based results, images, and videos, while with the other one, it just gave me I gotta go up twice. It just gave me news and images, because it is a news headline, right? He just passed away. So I do like that. I like how it's like, okay, your query is based on an event that just recently happened and it's breaking news. So I'm going to give you a news little tab. Check it out. Images. See who this guy is, right? Do I want to watch a video? No, I think because Andi knows that we know the cool stuff the Green Ranger has done. But but I like it. I like that.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head too, that like we're trying to show you the most relevant info for your search query. And so sometimes, like even with images, we try to show the most relevant high quality images, not just show you 1,000 pictures, you know?
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that you're picking up on this stuff,
and
though.
You actually
like,
can. There's a full screen mode, guys, and it's not necessarily like it blows it out, but what it does is it darkens out the light box, so it's kind of like a lights out mode. That's what it is. It's usually what YouTube would call it. There's like these YouTube plugins that I've used growing up, and before theater mode was a thing, and you would do like the lights out, so like darken out the UI, and I was just the video is what's in focus. So yeah, I like this. Yeah, it's nice. I don't really do the news and the images and the videos because I'm always looking for developer related things.
Right.
And sometimes a search result does give me some videos.
Let me ask you this though, JB. For doing like programming queries, do you find that the new, because we've added code snippets into the search results recently.
Yeah.
Have you been finding that those are useful?
Yeah, like when you said to do the feedback one. Yeah, I do like those. Now, because it feels natural, right? Like I'm a Notion user, so I like the slash commands. I've used Slack. We have Discord, right? So it feels very natural. A programmer is always doing some type of slash command now, because of the tools that we use. So yeah, I do like that. Um, I'm not sure if you're trying to probe something else, a feature. Are you? Like, are you trying to enhance the slash commands within Andy?
Definitely building out more on commands, I think,
Okay.
is in the roadmap.
Now, what would
Yeah.
that idea look like? You don't have to tell us, right? But we could be the exclusive platform right here, right now, to know. Um, what's the ultimate goal with what you just asked me? Like, what have you found would help people with slash commands in a search engine? Because I've never seen that before, right? I've never seen that. I mean, I've probably seen that from the bar at the top on a browser when you're trying to do command.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Arc browser by the browser company, on Mac, and I really like how they use slash commands to like get to tabs or like different things that are. And if it realizes that it's open, it just send me there. So, are you gonna use it in a similar thing? Like, could the slash command have a little history search to appear?
Oh. I like where this is headed. I mean, we're really building this thing in midair.
Okay.
So it's like conversations like this really do impact the product. And we have some ideas. We're still working it out.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that we're actually focused on right now is a new release to our Q&A model.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for that because that's what we're really pumped up about right
Cool.
now.
Yeah, I did see a little thing here. It says "Go Facebook" or "Go US Go." Go US Go. What are you gonna give me? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So you can type go and then followed by any term to actually search vertical searches or just go directly to a site.
Go
So
Twitter took me to mobile.twitter. What's going on here?
that might be a bug. But
But it's
if
cool.
you,
It took me to Twitter.
yeah,
All
or
right.
like go Amazon white shoes, for example.
Go Amazon white shoes. I don't know why I would have want white shoes, but hey, that okay. All right. I did not know that feature existed. This is great. Can I do go my wife's next birthday present? Go my wife's next birthday. Good thing I'm not screen sharing because it could be something very inappropriate. My wife's next birthday present. All right.
that that's a super interesting idea.
Etsy.com. Wow. It took me to wife birthday gifts on Etsy. It did a search result on Etsy on my behalf. This is amazing. This is so hype train right now.
I love it though. I actually didn't know how Andy would handle a search query like that. So
I wish I was screen sharing this. Riverside's not that great for screen sharing, but I will make a video, a dedicated video, just talking about this, and I'll just like put this on the on the video, right? Like as a what's it? B roll while we're talking in
yeah,
the segment. Yeah, I did, guys. If you're watching this, go on Andy search, do the search query. Go is your primary word. You're telling it to do something, and search the interwebs and give me a result. So I put "go my wife's next birthday present." It opened up a new tab to Etsy.com, and it literally on the address bar, and if you look at the search bar of Etsy, it says "wife birthday gifts." So it literally did everything else that I needed to do. So this is cool. Okay.
so one other thing, JB, you can use it to search your email or your Notion docs. So like go
Whoa.
Notion to-do list.
Well, I don't know if I signed in, but we'll see. Okay. Go Notion to do this. It looks like I'm not signed in, but I'm signed into an
Okay.
email. So what would be something I would still go like
Uh, go Gmail Angela. I mean, we've emailed back and forth, haven't we?
I might not have
Or
that email there, but I could probably do go Gmail Hopper.
okay.
Wow. This is dope. I did not know this. I'm blushing.
So, yeah, me too. I mean, this is just so exciting to see a user super excited about Andi. But like, this is the thing is that one of the things that we're excited
Wow.
about is like,
I would never go back to Gmail and just type gmail.com, go into the search bar. Now I can do it straight from my search engine. This is sick. Now, can I make my wife buy me a PS5 through here?
add that on the product roadmap.
Right.
How to make Andi more persuasive.
Right. It already is with the features this have right now. So you were gonna say something, right? Sorry, like you were excited about just seeing a user, really excited about features and.
Yeah, and one of the things that this Go feature taps into is like the ability for your search engine to perform actions on your behalf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like basically Andi's cutting the time of you, just like you explained, walking through, oh, I have to go to Gmail, then I have to search on Gmail. This cuts part of that step. And so we think that like AI in the future is going to help automate a lot of those like little tasks that we do on a day-to-day basis. And this is like the earliest version of that.
Can it tweet for me? Can it tweet?
Maybe something in the future.
Well, we can try. We don't know what Andi does. You guys are just programming it, and Andi's probably doing all this stuff by himself. So what would I do? Like go Twitter,
draft tweet.
Okay. Draft because draft tweet Elon Musk because that's relevant, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't do what I expected to do, but it searched Twitter. So it's searching Twitter. So let me do another one. So go Twitter JavaScript libraries. So it pushes out to Twitter. Now it says mobile.twitter.com. So guys, we just found a bug. Thank you guys for being a part of this. We'll put it on the Discord. But it does search on Twitter. So in essence, Andi is a search engine that also does searching for you when you command it. So what was the idea behind the word go, right? So this kind of ties into kind of like that assistive technology realm, right? Because you have Siri, which sucks, and you have Google Assistant, which is probably the best one out there, right? We had Samsung Bing for a while, which still sucks, and you have Alexa, which is pretty good. You know, can't complain about Alexa. I would say it's a good competitor against Google. Hey Google, or okay, don't put it too loud. I just activated a whole bunch of Google stuff. Even Alexa, because I said it too. Oh snap! I did it again. But what is like? Because you have Go, right? So is it Go like just something that in our minds, right? You would say, because technically, right, where it cuts out the whole middleman phrase of like, hey Google, go to, make sure you put headphones on because I'm about to but like, hey Google, go to like twitter.com, right? Instead we're saying go to Twitter and search for this, or go to Twitter and it just goes to Twitter, right? So was that part of something you guys thought about, of how we were interact and not make it feel like just something out of the box that we're used to? Like, I feel like it is a obstacle, right? Because not everybody can say, hey Google, very efficiently, right? Or not everybody can say Alexa, right? Depending on your language barrier, right? Like, but by saying go, it's like saying no, right? These are universal words that are very easy to pronounce. So do you guys are gonna probably incorporate that at some point when we do like when we do like Well, I guess it's already incorporated, right? Because the phone's already. Oh, this is my baby girl. Um, the
Oh.
the phone already has the dictate text to speech, right? So when we say go, um, Gmail and search for Hopper, right? It automatically it's like okay, I write it out and then boom, and then Andy would just give me what I need instead of saying, "Hey Andy, go to Gmail Hopper." But some people may not even know how to say Andy right.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah, I one of the things that I'm really excited about is adding in that voice component because
You
I
heard it
think
here,
that
folks. You heard it here once again.
yes. I freaking can't wait to add in voice search because I think that, especially since Andy is so conversational,
Mm-hmm.
people are better at speaking out long form queries than typing out long form queries, especially on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that you'll have noticed this throughout using the product. Like the longer your question, actually, the better Andy can do in terms of providing you a really good deep answer and then also subsequently really good results to go with it.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're excited about adding in this voice component because it's like, okay, if you can talk to Andy, you'll be able to get, 10 times better results.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, the idea for the go command, it's an action verb. So it's like telling
It's
Andy,
universal.
yeah, exactly. It's universal.
And because you could tell somebody like that doesn't know English or like let's say Spanish, and you say go go, and they're like, they that's how they react, right? It's like where
But one thing,
para donde voy? Where am I going?
so Joshua, if you're a fluent Spanish speaker, have you ever tried doing some Spanish queries
No, pero
in
lo voy a hacer ahora. I'm gonna do it
in
right now.
Andy?
So do okay. ¿Cómo
Ask it anything in Spanish. Yeah.
se hace penil puertorriqueño? Okay, penil boricua. It's easier. Se hace penil. Oh my goodness! It even gave me a video. Okay, all right. And then it even it gave me a video. It gave me a video at the top. Gave me some search results, more videos, and this is all from the search results tab here. Wow, that's pretty good. Now, how many languages are at the back can you speak to Andy with?
Andy understands any language.
And
The
that was
only thing that
something you were
we
talking about, the language model, right? Earlier, right?
Exactly. And the only thing that needs to be updated with that is just the front end, because the front end is only in English, and we're
Mm-hmm.
still very US centric at the moment. But like,
Mm-hmm.
our second largest country of usage is France. So,
Mm.
people are
Interesting.
asking it questions in
I
French.
thought it would be Australia because of Jet.
Yeah, Australia is in the top 10. Australia
Okay.
definitely is in the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and it's so interesting because like Boricua is something that us Puerto Ricans we identify because Borinquen, which is the name of the island, or Borinqueño, which is the person, right? That's actually how you would
Mm,
call a Puerto Rican, not Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican is English. But we
mm,
would say I'm a Borinqueño, so because I'm from Borinquen, which is Puerto Rico.
mm.
So which is interesting is that Andy recognizes that okay, Boricua is, I'm gonna serve things that are also Puerto Rican, and I'm noticing some things have puertorriqueño, penil asado puertorriqueño. That's in the title, but I guess the URL also says Boricua, and I know not a lot of people know what a Boricua is until you explain it to them. But they'll be like, "But aren't you Puerto Rican?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just this is our native tongue. Like that's our native name, right? From before we translate it. So it's super nice, yeah, to actually see that. Um, like for example, this one is 196 flavors. It's a search result, and it says penil asado. I didn't even put penil asado. I just said penil boricua, and it gave me a whole English search result here. that I was looking for. So that's super nice. Yeah. So it contextually understands like the the dialect that I just threw at it. So without accents or anything. Like I usually write Spanish without all the accents and it understands. So super nice. With Google, it'll try to autocomplete it and tell you, hey, this is how you write it to get the best result.
Mm.
But Andi
And
didn't
that's
do
not
that for
what you
me.
want.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't. I just want the result, and if it's truly AI driven, then it would compensate for that, right? And this is truly AI driven, so it compensated for my lack of Spanish grammar,
Mm.
and it gave
I
me
love that.
results.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
And you might notice that Andi also spell corrects. Like it will automatically spell correct when you're typing sometimes, which is really helpful for me because
Yeah,
I
I
spell
did.
things
Yeah.
wrong all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, so I started noticing Andy's telling me to search Google Drive, go Google Drive plans. Now, remember earlier it's like, where can we put the up arrow, right? Maybe we could put it there because it did tell me, hey, try /bug, right? Or try /
Mm.
feedback. So maybe if we put it there also in the guide, right? But also if we put it there, hey, just hit up arrows so you can go to your previous search query.
One of the places I was thinking that we can put like more command guides is in the little lightning bolt. So when you
Okay.
go into Andi, you'll see
Mm-hmm.
that on the search bar there's the search on one side, but then there's the lightning bolt on
Yes.
the other.
Yes. And I
And that
can't click
feature's
on
not
it.
built out. You can't click on it yet,
Oh.
but it's coming. It's coming.
Let's right click inspect people and see what the name of this is. Okay. I'm just hyping this up right now. But yeah, I always wondered what the Thunderbolt was. I was like, is that something that's coming? Because the Thunderbolt I can associate it to like slash commands. It's like very unique, special commands. So you would give something
Okay, that's helpful UX
like
feedback
power
that you
power
can grok
commands.
that.
Like like
Yeah.
power user commands. Yeah, I think it's because I've
Okay.
seen it in a product before. I don't remember where, but like the lightning is associated to a power user.
Right. That was kind of our thought process too.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. This is so exciting. We need another episode.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah, we need another episode.
Hey, seriously, after we release this next update, I think there's going to be a lot to talk about. So I would love to come
Cool.
back on in the next
Yeah.
couple
Well,
weeks or month.
you just invited yourself to another episode. More than gladly. Guys, hit the like button, share, retweet, repost because we do want her back. This is some awesome and maybe and hopefully I'm going to set it up for screen. You know what? We might even do a live episode. I think that should be how we should set it up.
Let's do it. Let's go.
When is this next update coming? 2023?
Hopefully end of 2022, but we could say
Okay.
beginning of 2023. That might be a fun time to kick off the
Okay.
live episode.
So yeah, that could give us time to promote, do a little bit of marketing, throw a couple of dollars to Google. Just kidding. Um, yeah, I think that should work out. Yeah, we could do that. Oh,
Joshua, I'm so sorry.
you're
Are you
back.
disconnected?
No, it's all right. Hopefully, I didn't like destroy your bandwidth.
No, all good. I think sometimes the internet can be a little patchy here, so.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, and I did tell you this could happen right before the recording. So, yeah, we'll talk about some admin logistic stuff afterwards, in regards to that. So that way, we make sure we get all the awesome information. But good thing it was in between a pause. So we're at the top of the hour, and we've talked a lot. You've seen a lot of my reaction. But yeah, we can definitely set up a time. Just reiterating a little bit from the previous segment here, section, and we could do like a screen share and just show those features and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. And then you get more live reactions as well. Um, But yeah, it's super super cool. I'm glad that I got to even learn some things on this podcast episode. So if you guys are listening, right, you're not watching the video and looking at my reaction. Even if you're watching the podcast video, you're not gonna see the stuff that I put out there. Um, but but you can experience it yourself, and you can go to andysearch.com. That's Andy with an I search.com. You're gonna see this little cute robot, and his name is Andy. So he's gonna give you a lot of search results, and also even search for your wife's birthday present, which is super awesome. um, I still can't believe it did that. That was great. And I didn't even tell it to go to Etsy. It just went to Etsy. It assumed I wanted to go to Etsy, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Um, I'm just glad it didn't take me to Target though, because it's my wife's favorite store. So
Target, Etsy, it's a toss up for me. I love them both. So
they're both rabbit holes in their own right, right? But
absolutely.
yeah, so is there anything that you like the people to know, Angela, like in regards to Andi? Like, what are we to expect? What are some of the long term mission that you and Jed have for Andi? Um, I mean, you guys are doing such a great job that I feel like someday you could get acquired, right? But I wouldn't want this product to get acquired. I want this product to be a competitor, right? And change the dynamic and the spectrum of the web. Like, this is a really awesome product. So have you guys thought about those things, right? As you move along and progress as your platform start building up?
Thank you so much for asking that question because I think it's important, and also really appreciate the fact that you say, you don't want us to get acquired. We don't want to get acquired. We don't want to sell out. It's really important for us to stick to the value of being an ad-free, privacy-focused platform. And we think that if we sell out to a company like Google or something, that just kind of kills that dream entirely. So, yeah, we want to take this thing all the way, fight the good fight and try to disrupt search. And that's what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's exciting, but
Yeah, this is really exciting. It it's just this is what a good ethical UI UX experience should be when it comes to like search results. It because you're not, like I said earlier, you're not you're not the search result. Like, you're not the product, right? To the search result. The product is the search result that you're getting back. So it really changes that. I don't think I've ever seen anything else like it in the market, and I think that's what makes it unique. I mean, you could probably do something similar with like SDKs like Algolia and Hype and Hawk Search and stuff like that, right? But they're so specific to like putting them onto like e-commerce websites and documentation, right? So it kind of falls out, right? That spectrum. But I really like this. I really like where Andy's going, and I'm gonna continue praying that you guys have great success with this because it's been life changing as a developer to use something like this.
I mean, that is like music to my ears. There's literally nothing better to hear. And, your feedback, your love of the product is what gets us up in the morning and, keeps us motivated to try to build Andi. So really from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot.
Yeah, well, from the bottom of my heart, I received the love, and I hope that I continue to be a faithful non-skeptic user. But it's always good to be a skeptic at times because there's so many things in this industry that's trying to solve so many problems. And I think we've all been traumatized with the aspect of like, here's a new tool, give it a shot, and then another tool pops up and it solves another problem that this tool that you were testing out or trying out was giving you a problem with. And that's just the nature, I guess, of the beast, right? As they say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's nice. It's always nice. I'm very passionate about supporting people when there's something good like this. So yeah, this is really awesome. And to be honest, like it feels like Flow Club. I never thought we're Flow Clubbers, right? For those that don't know, we're not clubbing. We're co-working space buddies in this platform called Flow Club. Shameless plug. And basically, what it is you have video feeds and you do like a stand up at the beginning and a stand up at the end, and then you have breaks if it's longer sessions. But there's a sense of community. Like the product solves a community issue within virtual co-working, because I feel like the virtual co-working stuff anybody could do, right? But I feel like Flow Club does it right because they have intentionally built a product that allows you to build a community around it, and you love on each other and you hold each other accountable. And that's why I'm willing to pay the money that is worth. So what I'm saying is, if Andi ever has an Andi Plus, I'd be willing to pay for Andi Plus to get access to early features, right? Could be $1, could be $5, whatever it is, or $8 like Twitter, right? But I think it's worth, if it ever ends up being there, right, where you guys need to like maybe fund some of those features to get developed quicker, and you guys got to put a paywall behind it. I'm more than supportive on that, because there's nothing unethical about what Andi's doing here.
I mean, that's super helpful feedback. Like, business plan is planning to do subscriptions in the future, so it's awesome to hear that from a user.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we're gonna get to the passing of the bread segment. And the passing of the bread segment is something you could share. It could be a shameless plug. It can be, which this episode has been a shameless plug, right? And it could be something you've been reading. It could be a movie you watch, something, or some encouragement or some resources that you would like to give people to learn more about how Andi works. Like if you want to send them over to like machine learning, generative AI, right? And how other technologies work, so that they understand like what Andi is trying to do for them, right? Kind of like the old people manual type of journey there, right? So you can do anything with this segment. So is there anything you like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I would love to plug one of the things we've already been plugging, but that's Andi's Discord community. I mean, I think that, the folks that listen to your podcast are probably the exact type of folks that we would want giving us feedback in our Discord. And it's just discord.gg/Andi. So definitely would love people to join us there. And in terms of getting to know AI better, generative AI, there's a newsletter that I recently signed up for that I've been really liking, called Ben's Bits, and
Sounds
it's about cool. Yeah, it's about cool things that are happening in the generative AI space. So I would definitely recommend people check that out too.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I will get those resources from you and I'll put them in the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the video description. My shameless plug is going to be andysearch.com. Again, that is Andi with an I, search.com. I sound like one of those like 30-second commercials, right? That says it's $19.99 with just shipping, handling, and then they tell you lifelalert.com. That is lifelalert.com. So that's what it sounds like. But yeah, go check it out, guys. I've been using it, I think, since August, I believe. Like when I said I was going to do 30 days, I think it was like the end of August and then September rolled along. Yeah, so that it's coming up to December, guys. It's definitely worth it. So definitely check it out. Thank you so much, Angela, for joining us and having this conversation. It's really awesome to hear what God is doing in your journey. And I know we talked a little bit about that before this. But definitely excited for a part 2 to this and to talk about that update that's coming along, which I'm excited about because I don't know what's coming. So you've been really good at not disclosing that. So thank you. But if anyone is interested in getting connected with Angela, I'm sure she'll provide those links as well. But the place you could really find her again is that Discord community. I think that's the best place to be, because if you already have Discord and you're part of the Code Fellowship community, which is actually not in beta anymore, you guys can click the link down in the show notes and you'll be able to join a Christ-centered developer community. And if you're a non-believer, you're more than welcome as well. So Angela, I would love for you to join, and we could probably build a new segment or section there specifically for generative AI, and we could have some resources there that you could share with the community as well. Other than that, that has been an episode of Code Fellowship where purpose meets function, because we clearly saw that in this episode and plenty others before us. You can find us on Spotify, on YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the social medias and podcast platforms. And I'll see you guys around. Take care and God bless.